Today, we're talking about 3 tips for great storytelling, and these ideas apply to the smallest personal project to the most epic Hollywood blockbuster and everything in between. If you use these ideas well, your audience will hang on every word you say and on every second of your piece. I'm Jeff Bartsch, and this is Story Greenlight. It's right around the holidays here, and my wife and son and I are visiting family in Ohio. Now, some of our family members live in a house on a large property out in the middle of the woods, and there's this long private driveway. It winds along until it reveals this house sitting on top of a little hill. Now, in LA, a lot of people like to complain about the fact that the weather's so great that we don't actually have seasons, which is actually kind of true. But I will say winter in Ohio in the middle of the woods is pretty cool when you're in a house like this. So that's where we are, and I have just demonstrated the first tip for storytelling. Always set up your context. Explain where you or your characters are and what they're doing. Now, it might seem kind of like a basic idea, but I promise you, it's really easy to forget ideas that we take for granted, and next thing you know, the audience is still left with big questions like, what's going on? I'm confused, and they're gone. Now, there's a whole spectrum of thought in terms of how much to explain versus how much you make the audience figure out for themselves. I mean, some of the most complex, involved, beautiful storytelling is completely based around keeping people in the dark. Now, that can work incredibly well, but it is very, very difficult to do well. So whenever you're in doubt, explain more rather than less, and your audience will thank you. Tip number 2. Plan the structure of your piece on purpose, usually in 3 parts. When you're telling a story or creating a video, it's really easy to say, hey, here's what the story is, let's just go. What happens very easily in that kind of a scenario is your story wanders, or your story doesn't have a point, or it just kind of stops. Now, we've been programmed ever since we were little kids to expect things to come in 3s, like ready, set, go, bump, set, spike, or in this case, beginning, middle, and end. Now, I'm not gonna go into that whole diatribe of what 3-act structure is and all those crazy, complicated moving parts, because it gets deep really quickly, and there have been all sorts of books written about that. What I can say, though, is it's what we've come to expect it in our Western culture, and if we don't get it as an audience, 9 out of 10 times we feel weird. So, when you're planning your piece, specifically figure out what's the beginning part, what's the middle part, and how does my piece end, and your storytelling will instantly improve. Tip number 3 for great storytelling: constantly reveal new information. Growing up, it drove me nuts when people would tell a joke that had sections that repeated over and over and over and over, just like this whole big long list thing. And I was just like, yeah, I guess that's kind of the point of the joke, but it's not funny to me. And even back then, I was just like, please stop wasting my time. So when you're planning your projects, figure out exactly what elements you have, figure exactly where they go along the part of your story, and that will keep you from having to reuse material. Your story will be more engaging, and your audience will stay more on board if you're constantly revealing new information. And now I have a bonus tip, and before we get there, I want to know, what ideas have you found helpful in your storytelling? Some of the greatest ideas that we get come from you, the Story Greenlight community. So drop those in the comments below, and let's keep talking about this. And in the meantime, if this video is being helpful for you, hit the like button and share it with someone that you think would like it, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss any more videos like this. And now, as promised, here's the bonus tip. When in doubt, keep things short. One of the biggest mistakes I find people making on the amateur side and even the professional side is, oh, well, like a music cue. It's this long, so I have to have the piece be this long. No, you don't. You need to build out your piece the length that it needs to be and then make your music fit that. Now, it's not easy to figure out how long a piece should actually be. I recently got called out by someone on a recent video that I did that they said, hey, it's too long and the content wandered. So you can check the video out here, see what you think. In the meantime, it's time for me to take my own advice and stop talking. And I hope these ideas have been helpful for you. And let's keep telling great stories together.